Burnout has a way of whispering before it screams. Today's guest knows that feeling all too well. Dianna Nicole was a stay-at-home mom who returned to work, but with health issues and a near-death experience, she only found herself burnt out and questioning what was next. Like so many women, she stood at the edge of a decision: stay in what was safe but draining, or take a risk on something entirely unknown. After hearing about people making money on TikTok, Dianna decided to try, without a big plan, without experience, and without guarantees. Her first month, she made just $39. 1 year later, she made over $1 million. Today, Dianna is here to share what happened in between: the doubt, discipline, mindset, and the courage it took to bet on herself when the outcome was anything but certain. This is a story about reinvention, resilience, and what can happen when you choose belief over burnout. Hi, Dianna. How are you?
Hey, Julie, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, you too. So I was excited to have this podcast and talk to you more because your story is something that I think is going to be impactful in a way that's subtle. Like, so
Mm.
many women and men are going to be able to identify with your story, and your success is a pretty cool story of success. Although, a lot of the times on this podcast, we talk about really dark times and things that people have really overcome. But I think what is going to resonate with people is that your story is of burnout. And that's what ends up propelling you to this newfound success that really changed your life. So I would love to start out, though, before TikTok and before money. Who was Dianna?
Oh, that's such a good question. I was, I would say Diana was a mom. She was a mom. She was a wife, uh, ex-school teacher,
Mhm.
just trying to kind of make it through life as an adult, like I guess so many people are trying trying to do. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to make everything work.
Yeah. So, wife, mother, teacher, all of those things. And at what point were you thinking, I need to pivot here? Were you happy being a wife, a mother, a teacher, all those things, and feeling fulfilled in all of those?
I think I did feel fulfilled in those things. In their specific roles, but I think mostly I felt like I was losing who just Diana was. I knew who
Mhm.
Diana the mom was, who Diana the wife was, but it was like, but who's Diana?
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
losing me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I used to be a stay-at-home mom, but also have a bachelor's and a master's degree, and you're, highly educated as well. And so, things change, right? When you have kids, you're like, okay, I'm going to stay at home. And then
Mhm.
you stay at home and, you're like, this is great. There's,
Mhm.
you're a mom and you're like, oh, I get to spend all this time with my kids. But you and I were talking the other day, and how was it and how long were you able to stay at home with your kids?
I did it for quite a while because eventually I ended up homeschooling them. So that was
Mm,
fun and interesting. So I pretty much stayed home until everybody was in middle school for the most.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have four kids.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
4.
So, geez. Okay. So, what is that? Probably at least 10 years, right? That you're staying home, 12 years, 15?
Or more, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, as a stay at home mom, I know how I felt after a little while, right? You start to be like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I need something else. I want to contribute financially. I want to,
Mhm.
it's hard to give up all of that freedom in a sense, like the time freedom, because you're not on a schedule as much. But how were
Yeah.
you feeling as a stay at home mom through those years?
I had mixed feelings, but because at first you felt there was the guilt, like, "Man, I should be helping with the money." So when I
Hmm.
first got home, I started pulling in other people's kids. So I opened a home daycare.
Okay.
Crazy decision. Do not recommend. So at that in that season, it was just kind of it was fulfilling, but I felt like I was still serving everybody outside of the house.
Mhm.
We kinda transitioned to where I wasn't bringing other people in, it was just me and my kids. So there was mixed seasons, some seasons of overwhelm, some seasons of guilt, and I think through it all, though, there was always this sense of fulfillment in the roles that I was doing, but lost on who Diana was. It
Yeah.
was it was always those two things kind of going against each other.
Yeah. These competing,
Mhm,
feelings, right? So
mhm.
end up deciding to go back to work? What made you decide to do that?
They got big and they
Mhm.
didn't need me anymore. Oh. Um, that was ultimately because I really didn't wanna go back to work. What this is kinda how it all happened. When I was at home, I was doing the side hustle thing, I tell women all the time, "You have the side hustles of the side hustles of the side hustles."
Yeah.
There's Mary Kay and 31 bags and Pampered Chef, like all the
Yes.
things. So I was doing a lot of side hustles while I was at home to bring in income. Um, but then once they were all in school, I went back to work part-time because I still had my side hustles,
Mhm.
which were now my passion. So it's like I have my passions, but I still
Okay.
need to bring in income. So I went back to work part-time subbing.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And then did you end up going back full time?
I never did. I never
No.
did go full time.
Okay. So what was the point where you felt burnt out? I know that you told me a story about you were subbing, you were substituting,
Mhm.
and there was a moment where you were like, "Mm-mm, nope,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
done." Yeah, can you tell us about that?
I think that the burnout was on the back of, I would say, the last of many crises.
Mm,
I have I tell people I have kissed the face of death so
mm,
many times. When the girls were smaller and I was homeschooling them, we had rolled the van over
mm.
3 times and landed upside down in a ditch.
Wow.
And then before that, I was bleeding to death and I ended up having to have a hysterectomy. And so this moment of burnout this time was after a series of crises. So this
Mhm,
last time I had gotten extremely sick.
mhm.
And it was just like after being sick and better, or rolling over a van and being better, or, almost dying and being better. This time it was just like, oh, and I forgot to mention divorce. I had gone through divorce.
Oh,
And
wow.
so there were so many series of crises. By the time I had gotten to this crisis, I had learned enough to know that it was like, unless you want to hit rock bottom again, something has to change.
Mm.
And so the burnout was more at this point, it was a lesson learned from going through all my previous crises.
Wow. And maybe more, and you're making me think like perspective too, because you're like, do I really want to spend? I've had all these near death experiences. Do I really want to spend the next 30 years in a classroom with
Right.
kids with severe behavior issues and, all of that? It makes you think like, how do I want to live my life? Right.
100.
Yeah. So, how are you doing? Because I think your situation and a lot of other women, especially stay at home moms, because we're not contributing financially sometimes. How were you in a financial state at the time when you decided, I'm done with your career? Or, obviously with a teacher, but as a substitute, where were you at financially then?
Well, my husband was still the breadwinner, so I had remarried, and
Hmm.
my husband was still a primary breadwinner, so I had the freedom to say, "I quit, I quit."
Hmm.
Not completely, because I don't know if everybody else is living in America or not, but the bills and the prices are insane.
Hmm.
So, you can't just do a total one-income household unless you just, like, really have it like that. Um,
Hmm.
so we were making enough where he could take care of the basics, and I just had things like my student loans and
Hmm.
my car note,
Yeah.
Um, so we were good, but we needed me to make income because
Hmm.
we live in it's tough, it's
Yeah.
tough.
So, was there fear or shame about stepping away?
100%. I think just as a teacher, to stop in the middle of the school year,
Hmm.
you feel like you're letting down the kids, you feel
Hmm.
like you're letting down the administration,
Yeah.
you just kinda feel like you're a failure. Like,
Yeah.
"You couldn't make it to the end of the year? No, I really can't." So, there was a lot of shame and guilt, but there was more shame and guilt for me on the opposite side, like, I'm not being the mom,
Hmm.
right? I'm being the work lady, and all of my students love me, and all my parents of the students love me, but when I get home and my kid says, "Mom," I don't have
Hmm.
anything left.
Hmm.
And because I had lost my a previous marriage, there was the guilt of that. It's like, I don't wanna lose again
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
marriage.
So let's talk about that because I think that a lot of women experience it, and I'm sure fathers, of course, but I'm a female and a mother who worked, and that mom guilt is just so real. And
Yeah.
then it's like you give everything to everyone else, and you're like the meanest to the people you love the most.
Yeah.
And it is you just it's like this constant cycle of feeling guilty and
Mm,
praying for patience every day and
mm,
all of that.
yeah.
So I think so many people can resonate with that. Like the burnout is so real. What did that feel like for you? What did burnout at that time feel like physically for you? How was it manifesting? I know you're saying maybe you were the mean mom or maybe, whatever, but how else was it manifesting itself in your body or
Well,
to help
because
others around you?
thank you. That because I was sick that whole previous year, so I had got a diagnosis. My stomach was hemorrhaging into my esophagus, and they had found a precancerous growth in my
Mm,
intestines, and so every time stress is at a high, the stomach hemorrhages more.
wow.
So it stops you from eating. It stops you. It's terrible. And so at that point, my health, my stomach is hemorrhaging worse and worse, and you can't eat, and it's just like so I can't eat because I'm stressing out about work,
Hmm.
and now I'm at home and I can't cook dinner because I'm exhausted,
Mm,
and I'm just trying to recover to make it to work for the next day. Physically, it was literally I mean, people say, "Oh, it's tearing my stomach up." Literally, it was
yeah.
eating me alive, it was tearing my stomach
Yeah.
apart.
Okay. So you decide you're going to do this for you, for your family, for
Mhm.
sanity and your health to you're done working. How long was it before TikTok entered your life?
I started my TikTok page 12 days before I quit my job.
Oh,
12
okay. Okay. So you had a plan. You had a plan, it sounds like. Or
kind
gonna
of, I had a
try.
dream. I had a wish, a hope, a wish, and a dream.
Yeah. Okay. This is where I think it gets so exciting is like, okay, so you're like, I hear that people can make money off TikTok. I have
Mhm.
tell us the story.
Well, I have been watching it, I wanna say because when I was sick, you lay in the bed and you watch a lot of YouTube.
Mhm.
So all these people are on YouTube and they're, "Oh, I'm making this much." I'm like, "They're lying. They're clear. You cannot make that much money on TikTok." So I'm watching all of these videos about people saying that they're making money on TikTok, but they're young
Mhm.
and they're guys fresh out of college, like
Mhm.
young frat guys. And I'm like, "Of course you're making. You got all the energy and the I don't know, whatever it takes for TikTok."
Yeah.
So I knew about it in that way, but a lot of them were selling these coaching programs. So I
Mm.
thought they're probably lying just to sell something. So that was as much as I kinda knew was TikTok shop is what people are talking about on YouTube, and they're probably lying.
Okay. So then you hear that, but then obviously something in your brain's like, well, if they can do it, I can do it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how did you get that courage or that feeling of like, I'm going to do it?
I think and this is I wish that there was like this like come to Jesus moment and I felt like oh just so wonderful. I wasn't.
Mhm.
Most of the things that have happened in my life unfortunately is just school of the hard knocks.
Mm,
So I didn't know I didn't quit and know that TikTok was going to be the thing.
mhm.
I quit and knew I'm too sick to keep doing this.
Got it.
And
Okay.
so it was more desperation in my mind, honestly, in my mind was if TikTok doesn't work, at least I can sub here and there or drive Uber or I had to it was desperation. I had even gotten my English as a second language. I was grasping for straws. So I
Yeah.
wish I could say like I knew it was going to be TikTok. I didn't. It
Mhm.
was like I have to quit. I'm desperate and I'm willing to try anything again.
Mhm. Okay. So you try.
I tried.
And tell us about that first month, like what that experience was for you.
Oh, it's terrible. I started TikTok. I came home and you open an account and you watch, you scroll on the For You page And mind you, I wasn't just trying TikTok. I was trying a whole bunch of, let me try digital products
Yeah.
and let me apply for this English as a second language,
Yeah.
position. I was trying everything. But with the TikTok stuff, I brought, because, my passions are I speak and I sing. So I'm like, I can do this.
Mhm.
And so I got on and I got, to singing and putting on outfits and all the crazy stuff. And that first month, I made $39.
Mhm.
I had a meltdown. I remember sitting in my bed crying and saying, I clearly have to be in a midlife crisis because I'm trying to tell my kids what they need to do. They need to
Mhm.
go to school. They need to get their degree. And here I am playing around on an app and quit my job. I'm very irresponsible and I'm failing.
Mm.
I'm failing. I feel like I was failing as an example. I felt like I was failing at as a professional. I felt like I was failing as a wife and an entrepreneur. And ultimately, I felt like I was failing as a woman. Mm.
Wow. That's
So
a
yeah,
hard place to that's a really hard place to be in. Is you're
yeah.
just trying to figure out, what else to do or where else to go. You sound like you've kind of always had an entrepreneurial mind. It
Mhm.
seems like because you're always doing multiple things at a time. So this sounds kind of like perfect for you, right? So, so the first month is not successful. I mean,
Mm.
you got to start somewhere, right? Like
Yeah.
you got to start somewhere. So then, what did you do to pivot to make the next month more successful?
Oh, I just bought all the courses,
Oh, you
emptied
did.
my savings, and got on all the payment plans
Hmm.
because this was my thought. Either these people are lying about how much money they're making,
Hmm.
or they're telling the truth and they know something that I don't know.
Hmm.
Mm,
Which was it for you? When you got all those courses, you spent all that money. Did they
mm.
know what they were talking about? Did you learn a lot?
Some, yes, and
Hmm.
some it was like, "Can I have my money back?"
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get I
Yeah.
give me my savings, please. Uh, uh, so some yes and some I feel like in the online course world, that's what it is
Hmm.
because there's no base for anything, so it could be a
Yeah.
win, it could be a dud.
Right. Right. So, okay. So, the second month, how much money did you make? You're in the
Nine
hole.
I mean, right, I'm $39, can't cover a phone bill.
Okay.
I went from $39 and this is just we're talking commissions, right?
Yeah.
Because you make sales, but then there's commissions. So I went from $39 in commission in November to $19,000 in commission in December.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I think everybody's ears are like what? What did she say? Okay. So you do that, and then obviously I'm assuming every month is more and more, right? You
Yeah,
make
not
more and more.
well, somewhat. It's up and down. It's up
Okay.
and down.
But
Mhm.
it's more than $39,
But
right?
it's always way, way more than $39. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so now you started, was it last November in 2024?
Mhm, November 1st was my first,
Wow.
TikTok shop video, yep.
Okay. Can you share with us how much you have either grossed or made since starting a year, what is it, 13 months ago?
Mhm. Right now, in sales for TikTok altogether, I've made about $1.3 million of
Wow.
sales.
Wow. That
Yeah,
is incredible. That is
it's
so
insane.
cool. Are
Ah!
you are you proud of yourself?
Oh, I am proud of myself, but it's really silly, but I don't think that it really dawns on me still yet
Mm,
because it's when I got on TikTok, I wanted to make $3,000 a month.
mm, mhm.
That's I wanted to pay my student loans, my car note, and
Yeah.
make 3,000.
Yeah.
So I think it still is not all the way real. It's like this.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask you this. When you first started, did you have people who were doubting you or like, whatever, or were you doubting yourself at all?
Both. Well, First, I was just doubting myself and I was hiding from everyone. I made a brand new account so nobody would,
Uh-huh.
you know. And then one of my family members found it. So then I had people doubting me and I was doubting myself. But I
Uh-huh.
also had people that were believing in me. So that was really helpful too.
When did you realize that this may work? Like, how many months in were you like, okay, this isn't just a fluke. I didn't just make 19,000 for no, when did you realize, oh, this is real. This may actually work.
I feel like I realized before the 19 because when I made that first dollar of that $39, I was like, "Wait a minute."
Hmm.
Because to just to set some, I guess, some clarity, I work on TikTok Shop on TikTok for 1 hour a day. 1 hour.
Mm.
So
Still?
for me, still, for the shop, yes. I've made 1.3 million, but 1.2 million of those sales is inside of 1 hour a day.
Wow. Wow. Your
So
ROI is pretty freaking amazing. Your return on your
it's
time investment.
insane. So for
Wow.
me, but former Diana, I just wanted to make 3,000. So for me, as soon as I made that first $1, I'm like, hold up a second. I just made a video and it made me $1.
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
for me, it was like, this is real
Oh.
because I made a video and it made $1. So
Mhm.
after that, it was kind of like, okay, well, I just have to figure out how to do this more and right. But
Mm.
once I made my first $1, I was like, okay.
That's so cool. I mean, it's cool that you realize the potential at the dollar
Mm,
instead of, oh, at a million. Like, I've made it at a million, like
mhm.
that's really cool. So, how has your relationship with money changed? And I ask you this because a lot of us grow up with a certain mindset around money, especially women. Like, we may grow up and our parents say, oh, we can't afford, we can't afford, we can't afford, we don't have enough money, da da da. And so you start to have this scarcity mentality around money. Um, and how has that changed for you? Do you feel like, oh my gosh, now I got to hoard it? I may lose it. Like, is there fear based around it still? Or are you like, hey, I'm generous. I give it away. I did, whatever. Like, how has your relationship with money changed?
That's a really good question. I think it has evolved. When I first got it, it was like, I get to, okay, so I was always the mom that went in the store with the $50 grocery budget. And
Mm,
so we just can't. We
hmm.
just can't. We can't
Yeah.
have that. We can't get that. And so when I first got it, it was like, I can tell myself yes.
Mm,
I can tell myself yes. And so I went and I bought the blankets at Target that I wanted.
mm,
And I went and I wasn't crazy. It wasn't like, oh, jewelry, cars.
yeah.
It was just like, I can get the blanket.
Mm,
I can get I can get the grocery at the health food store. I've been wanting that organic milk. I'm getting it. So
yeah.
first it was just kind of, I can tell myself yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was, I can tell others yes. I can do this thing for my mom
Mm,
that I've been wanting to do for a really long time and I just couldn't. Or
mm,
my kids.
yeah. Isn't that the best? Isn't that the best when you finally realize you can give to others how you've always wanted to? That's
Yeah.
awesome. It's
I think
beautiful.
that felt better than buying me the blankets at
Yeah.
Target.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's so funny because as my husband and I have made more money, he's like, all you do is just want to give it away. I'm like, I know. I grew up without money. And so for me, I just
Mm.
always see an opportunity that people need money. And he's like, hey, why don't we like wait until we reach at this point? Then we can give our money. I'm like, okay. Yeah. 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 It is, but, well, that's so cool. So then have you realized that your self-worth, like, has changed also because now you're like, my bank account has this much, and not to say it's good or bad, but I know a lot of us do determine how maybe it's you feel a little better when you got money in the bank, you feel a lot worse when you don't, it's stressful or whatever, but how has your self-worth changed, or you feel that you've noticed your
Uh,
self-worth change with the more money you've made?
I don't think so at all. I think my mother did a very good job. So I know it probably sounds insane, but I knew, and I would tell my husband this all the time. I knew that I was a millionaire when I was broke.
Hmm.
And I would tell my husband, I'm like, "I'm a millionaire already. The other people just don't know it yet."
Mm. Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
they just don't know, I know.
Yeah.
So, not my self-worth, my ability to do different things has changed, but because money for me is I think because I've kissed the face of death so many times, money is it's not the thing.
Mhm.
It's not the worth, it's not the goal, it's not opens doors and it gives opportunity, but it's so not the thing.
Mhm.
Time is the thing, and the time that money buys me to be with the people who I love, that's the thing, you know? No, I don't think it has changed my I think it's just given me the opportunity to do the things.
Yes, yes. Okay, that's so powerful. So, how do you think your children see you in this story? Are they like, "My mom is amazing," like, what have they said to you, and what do you think that they've learned maybe that they haven't yet said to you? Or
Mm,
what do you hope they maybe, I guess, what do you hope that they've learned? So, a couple questions there.
okay, so let me answer what was the first one? What was the first
What do you think your children have learned that they've
one?
said to you? Like,
I think too, especially my older ones, to chase after their dreams and not make excuses. My oldest daughter, my 22-year-old, now she's on TikTok.
mhm.
She hasn't stuck to a lot of things, but now she's I'm so freaking proud of her. She's sticking to it. She's like, "If you did this, I don't have excuse."
Yeah.
So it's taught them to chase after their dreams and be consistent.
Mhm.
My younger ones, I don't know yet. They're kinda just like in the proud, brag on my mom phase.
Yeah. Relishing in that they can get some new stuff that maybe the
Right.
olders didn't get. Yeah. Yeah. What do you hope that they learned, though? Or that they do learn as they watch your success continue to grow? Because obviously you're gonna branch off to other things in your coaching and it's not just TikTok, selling, but what do you hope that they do learn from you?
Um, Not to change their character, but if any circumstance changes, whether it's money or status or any of that, to still remember to be kind
Mm,
and serve, like have a servant's heart. No matter how much you make or how big you are, like serve.
yeah.
And yeah, I want them to learn that their character that it shouldn't change with
Mhm.
their status or income.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. I've heard this saying before where it's like, if you were a jerk before money, you're gonna be a jerk after
Right.
money. If you're kind before, you're gonna be kind after. And it is so important that no matter what your bank account says, that you're still a kind human, because that's really all that matters, I feel like.
Mhm.
So for women who may feel burnt out and are scared to jump in, what advice would you give to them?
Um, I tell women to find the thing that is going to give you the time freedom and the financial freedom to do the things that are the most important. But if you're at a place of burnout, before you can find the thing, you have to find the space for the thing.
Mhm.
So figure out what you need to let go.
Yeah.
It's okay. Quitting, I think too often the social media and the internet makes us feel um like we're supposed to be something else or supposed to be something more. And that stopping something means that you're giving up or stopping something means that you're failing. But
Yeah.
I wish if I could go back to that old Diana that I could just say in my burnout stage, it's okay to let go. Like you're not failing if you stop. It's just a nice, healthy, I'm sorry I can't. I'm at
Mhm.
capacity and I'm sorry I can't.
Right.
So I tell them to evaluate what they're holding on to, that maybe they need to just say, "I'm so sorry,"
Mhm.
vulnerably, "I can't."
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So Do you think that burnout for you was a breaking point or a blessing?
Both.
Yeah.
It was both. That's a great question. It was both. It was both my breaking point and my blessing.
Mhm. Mhm. It's so cool to hear that that was the pivotal moment, and almost it had to happen in order to propel you to that next step because
Mm.
you were kind of forced to stop and think, what am I going to do for your health and everything? So, what does success mean to you now, would you say? Now you've had a year of really profound success. I'm sure you're not going to stop. But what is success? What does that mean to you now?
Impact.
Mm.
Impact. I honestly do not know how many days I have left.
Hmm.
I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. And nobody is going to talk about how much money I made on TikTok when I die.
Mm.
People don't stand up at your funeral and go, and she had this. No one cares.
Hmm.
No, they're gonna be arguing about dividing it up. But what people talk about is what you did to change their life.
Yeah.
And so success for me now just is how much impact am I going to leave behind?
Hmm.
Because I want a lot of women at my funeral to say, and Diana helped me, and she
Hmm.
helped me. And like
Yeah.
that would be suc-
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. So you do coach women. Part of that impact is you're coaching other women. And I don't know if you coach men too, but do you coach men?
no, just
Primarily, okay, women. Okay. So you coach other women. And I think something that's pretty cool about you is that you're like, this isn't competition. I want to help as many people as I can. And you have been generous enough to come up with a gift for our listeners. Can you explain what that is?
So for my people who just want to put their toe in with TikTok and like see what does this even mean? What is it
Mhm.
about? I have a TikTok playbook that I give out. It talks about how to go viral and the different ways because TikTok Shop was just the beginning for me, and it's
Mhm.
so many ways that you can make money on TikTok. So I have a free playbook that kind of like walks through all those different things.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And we will tag that at the end in the show notes. But lastly, what do you hope listeners take away from your story?
Number one, give yourself grace.
Mm.
I think as women and maybe as guys too, yeah, I definitely know as guys too, yep.
Mhm.
Um, we are the hardest on ourselves.
Mhm.
We feel like we have to be, we have to do, we have to show up, and we run ourselves ragged on worrying about what other people will see,
Yeah.
you know? So I would say number one, give yourself grace and be soft on yourself and say, it's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay. I can slow down. I can take a break. And then, two, in that break, think about what it is that you really want to do to make impact, um, because that's the only thing that outlives you.
Mhm.
It's the only thing that outlives you.
Yeah. Well, you've clearly made an impact here because I know that people are going to not only download your incredible free gift, but also I'm going to as soon as you send it because I'm excited to learn more. I feel like TikTok to me is intimidating, but
Mhm.
I know that, you're breaking it down so we can understand it a little bit better. So I appreciate that. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for being here. I think you're really inspiring, and I know a lot of people are going to be reaching out. So we'll put all your contact information in. I know you're on TikTok, obviously, you're on Instagram, and you do coaching, you do singing, speaking engagements, all that kind of thing. And I love your energy. When we got off the call yesterday, my daughter was driving. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I love her. I want to be friends with her."
I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
So, yeah. So thank you so much for being here. And it was wonderful to chat with you.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Here on From Dark to Light, we believe that resilience isn't about pretending the darkness never happened. It's about learning to rise from it and letting our scars tell a story of strength. If today's episode spoke to you, I hope you'll share it with someone who may need encouragement on their own path. Subscribe on YouTube or anywhere else that you get your podcasts. And as always, thank you for joining me in shining a light on the power of the human spirit. Until next time, I'm Julie Crawford, and this has been From Dark to Light.